My name is Jeremy Wright. I'm the CFO for Portofino Resources Incorporated. We're traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol POR and on the Frankfurt Exchange under POTA. We're an Argentine lithium brine focused explorationist and happy to be here today.
Jeremy, thanks for joining us. And first I've met or spoken, so I just kind of want to get a sense of what you're trying to do and a sense of what you're about. So let's start with the company and the portfolio. You've got a fair few moving parts in here. Small company, 11, 12 million bucks. I mean, how can you possibly sort of manage all of the juggling that's required?
I think that's a fair question. And the simple answer is Portofino cannot juggle everything. And so what we're doing is based on a recent buyout of our Yergo project in Argentina. The company is going to be strictly focused on Argentine lithium brine developments, and with the lead asset being the Yergo project and a near-term acquisition subject to the government of Salta awarding a tender to us, the Arizaro project in Salta. The projects in Ontario, we do intend to spin those out.
Right, and what are you sitting on in? Sorry, you've got how many projects?
There are 2 in Argentina, and there are 5 gold projects and 3 lithium projects in Ontario.
Right, okay, so will you spin out the Canadian lithium and the Canadian gold into one entity or 2 separate entities?
We're in discussions with different groups on the lithium assets, and we would spin out the gold as one portfolio.
Right, okay. And is there any value in that? Do you think, I mean, I'm talking like, are there dollars to be had short term?
Yes, there are. So in the lithium assets, we have entertained numerous offers. Nothing is concluded to date. But between cash and shares, we do believe there's significant value that can come to the shareholders for Portofino. Additionally, on the gold projects, though, that portfolio has 2 drill stage gold assets in it. Plus additional projects that are quite compelling to pursue.
Right.
So we think there's significant value that can be unlocked on both.
Okay. At a future date, when you've kind of concluded those discussions, et cetera, I'm sure you'll let the market know. So something in your back pocket there. You have also raised some money recently, beginning of September, just shy of $1 million, a little bit of money earlier in the year as well. You're kind of quite tight on the finances to do what I suspect you're going to need to do with Yergo and also Arizaro. How are you planning to move things forward? You're going to need to raise some capital. So let's talk about what you want to do and then maybe come back to the money. So what do you need to do with Yergo now that you're 100% owner?
So what we want to do there is we're in the process right now of identifying a further exploration program to expand the aquifers, both size and depth. And at the same time, resample the samples that were previously taken, where we think we're going to get much more significant grade out of the revised samples. And then concurrent to that, we're proceeding with a drill permit application with the Catamarca government, and we anticipate being able to drill on the project prior to the end of the calendar year.
Right, and so what historic data did you pick up along with this package? I mean, what do you know?
Well, we have completed everything to date up to drilling, so all surface sampling, all geophysics, and we know there are 2 major aquifers on the project, and we know that the grades on the aquifer are very high.
Right. They're very high. Can you give me some numbers? Give me a sense of that.
I think the grade was 378 milligrams per liter, which with very low impurities.
Right. Okay. So we're talking, of course, lithium brine here in Argentina, which is what it's known for. When you were kind of going through this process, how long did it take you to kind of actually get this over the line? How long have you been talking about it?
Several years. So we had a traditional option earn-in agreement, and that culminated in a buyout agreement in August to acquire 100%.
Right. Okay. So is it a case of one of those things we've started, so we may as well finish, or during the course of those discussions, did you sort of take a step back, take a breath, and go, well, actually, our lithium brine's getting a fair hearing at the moment. We're seeing all this lithium pegmatite, this hard rock stories coming through and getting a sort of exceptional valuations in the marketplace. Were you sort of tempted to maybe not do lithium brines?
Absolutely not. I think my thesis is that lithium brines are the optimal asset to pursue. And given that the buyout of the option agreement was for approximately $200 US per hectare, and the going rate for lithium brines in the similar area are about $2,000 US a hectare, we knew we had an asset we needed to acquire fully.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. The going rate is $2,000. That doesn't necessarily mean yours is going to be $2,000, does it?
No, it doesn't. But when you look at interest that we've had in the project already since we've made the announcements of the complete acquisition, it validates the thesis that we are in the right wheelhouse for the value.
Right. Okay. So, that's really interesting. So, I guess you're saying to get this thing over the line, it actually kind of backstops some kind of valuation for your company as well, if you could get anywhere near the $2,000 per hectare.
Easily.
Acre a hectare valuation, was it?
Per hectare.
And
the $2,000 is simply based on unexplored land in a prime salar. So as soon as you start doing work on the project, the value should be increased. And the fact that we are at a drill stage with that project, we should see, if we were to vend out that property, which we're not planning to, we should see additional value being realized for the shareholder.
Right.
Our immediate plan to complete an initial 4-hole drill program should see a revaluing of that project dramatically.
Okay, we'll get there in a second. I'm just going to work out, just in terms of land value or land holding value here, because you're quite close to Zijin, who's just, I think, a little bit, where are they, south of you. They've got their Tres Quebradas project, obviously, down there. They're very clearly Zijin, one of the big names in lithium, partly because of their technical expertise, but they also seem to be moving further upstream as well. Groups like that must give you some degree of confidence that the land values can be achieved. Is that what you're thinking?
Absolutely. And Zijin is approximately 9 kilometers northwest of us. So it's very, very close.
Okay.
In fact, I believe their team drives across our property on the main road every time they go to theirs. So
Gotcha.
The answer is yes. And we have seen and we are seeing significant interest amongst Chinese groups and groups from outside of China in the Yergo project.
Right. So that's Yergo. Obviously, a lot of data, more meaningfully advanced, and you're 100% owners. What about the Arizaro projects? You're not quite there with that. So can you give us an update?
Yeah, the Arizaro project was subject to a public tender. So we've been doing contract work on behalf of the provincial government, or the provincial mining company named REMSA in the province of Salta. We have successfully brought that project forward to a drill stage, having completed all surface sampling, trenching, and geophysics. The geophysics included, I believe it was 64 line kilometers of work that was completed. We've outlined a significant aquifer there, and subject to that reporting, the provincial mining company, again named REMSA, did undertake a public tender, and that was concluded in August. And we're anticipating a decision on the awarding of the sub areas imminently. And my understanding is the decisions were to come down after the Argentine federal election, which did wrap up yesterday.
Right, but I think they're running again, aren't they? There's another round.
Yes. Yeah, mid-November there is the runoff.
Right, okay. So I guess before year-end, hopefully some kind of clarification on whether we're mining-friendly government or not. And early indications suggest that will be the case. Right, let's talk about those two projects. You're going to need, you talked about some of the things that you have been doing and you will need to do. You're going to need to finance that. Mm-hmm. So you got to be very clear about what it is that you're trying to, I guess, be able to tell the market. So let's talk about those. You said 4 drill holes, you said?
Yes.
Right. So what do you hope to be able to prove to yourself and the market after those 4 drill holes?
Well, I think that we're going to be able to come out with an initial resource following that drill program. And being able to push 4 drill holes into that project. Similar companies have been able to produce a resource over 1 million tons based on that work. I'm not saying that we're going to be able to do that, but I think that other companies' experience in the area is very telling of what could be done here.
So, okay, not you. well, maybe you, but a million tons, right? But put that in context of what else is going on out there. Because it's a very confusing time for, investors in lithium. We saw, prices shoot up way over 70, nearly 80,000 back in October, and sort of shoot back down to 20, and I think we're sitting around 30 now. So it's kind of erratic behavior. And therefore, and equities have kind of, been under pressure because the equities just generally are, but under pressure because expectations were set quite high, and then they kind of come off again. So when you're talking about, the resource of that sort of size, give me a sense of where that kind of puts you if you're able to do that.
Well, it put it into, in my mind, a tier one asset, even off of that work. And then, if we are successful on follow-on drilling, we can expand that resource significantly. And again, regarding lithium pricing, a lot of people forget that lithium was priced around $4,000 or $5,000 a ton a couple of years ago, and so to be sitting around $5,000 or $30,000 a ton today, you are sitting on a six-fold increase to the recent past. And people sometimes forget that, as you say, when there was a meteoric temporary rise to over 70.
Yeah. Well, that hence the confusion, I think, in the marketplace. They're trying to work out: are we finding a new base here in terms of what the expected supply versus demand fundamentals look like, or are we on another kind of, I guess, foolish run up? I don't think it did the market any favors, that sort of pricing last year. But there you go. So you've got to fund. You'll have to fund 4 holes. So what's that cost? Have you got enough money now? Are you going to need to go and raise some additional capital? And then obviously you got to put a resource out. So that costs time and money. So what does that look like?
Yeah. So the 4-hole drill program, we've budgeted approximately $1 million. We will be raising the money for that in the near future. And we believe we've got the support from the investor community and our current investors to proceed with that. So we're fairly excited on getting the drill permits in hand, moving forward with that.
And drilling when to expect to be able to do that, sorry?
We'd like to have the drills turning prior to the end of the calendar year.
Okay. Not too far away. And then that million was the good news, right? That's the good news, because you're going to move quickly in this marketplace, take advantage of the situation. Does that $1 million, would that also include actually being able to put out a resource off the back of it? Does it include the back end of the drilling?
To put out a revised 43101, yes, that should include it.
Okay. Right. Well, there we go. That's okay. So your story is quite simple. So you've kind of decluttered.
Yes.
You're kind of getting rid of the remainder, the other elements, the non-Argentine elements, and spinning those out. There's some value to that. There's some value in the, I guess it's like I said, it's kind of almost like a backstop value of the land that is sitting on at Yergo. And Arizaro, I guess, will come through when it comes through, but that also looks imminent. So your message to shareholders now is obviously hang on there. There's more to come. For investors looking at this, how do you describe yourself? What type of company are you that they're investing into?
Yeah, for the investor that would be looking to come in, I describe ourselves very often as probably one of the last lithium juniors that has a low entry point for investors to come into a lithium brine story. I'm not aware of any other lithium juniors globally that have access to tier 1 lithium brine salars that are priced where we are. I don't believe we've been discovered yet. And having recently bought out the Yergo option agreement and having a very good likelihood of winning this public tender in Salta province for the Arizaro project, puts us in an incredible place for investors to look at us.
Okay. Well, it's a nice introduction to the story. Go off and do it and come back and tell us, I told you so. Happy to have that conversation. I think it's still an exciting time for lithium and lithium and people thinking of investing in lithium. There's still money to be made. So thank you for your time today, Jeremy. We'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.